Every now and then, thankfully not too often, I get a message or I see a message that says something like, stop shaming people with mental disorders, or you're an ableist for picking on narcissists. Narcissists need help, not to be more shamed. And then sometimes I see messages which are quite different from that type of message that say something like, I wish I could help the narcissist in my life. I wish that I could do something to alleviate their suffering, or I wish I could help to heal them, which is a little bit nicer. But I really want to address both of these mentalities, that narcissists need help or need somebody to stick up for them, or that this would in any way benefit anybody. And I also want to provide this video for people that may run into the types of people that think that they need to stick up for narcissists while invalidating abuse victims. I hope that this video can help sort out your own reasoning as to why it's perfectly reasonable to identify the problematic characteristics of narcissism. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. Now, I really have to control myself in order to keep this from turning into a rant, because the kinds of sentiments I opened this video with really can get under my skin sometimes, as I'm sure many of you watching can understand. It's pretty infuriating to hear somebody sticking up for somebody that causes so much needless pain and destruction in other people's lives. But let's take a closer look at this and really look at why this really isn't helpful for anybody. When we look at a narcissist's problems, we're looking at their problems from our perspective. And narcissism looks at nothing from our perspective. Narcissists see everything from a completely foreign perspective. And from their perspective, they don't have any problems. They don't need your help. They don't need anybody's help. Suggesting that a narcissist needs help or that a narcissist needs somebody sticking up for them is insulting to an actual narcissist. Their narcissism is the solution to their problems, and the only real problem they have left are all the people in their life that won't accept their behavior the way it is. You're the problem. So if you want to solve a narcissist's problem, then stop trying to get them to change. Stop trying to suggest that there's anything wrong with what they're doing. And of course, it's also important to point out that most narcissists don't know that they're narcissists. So for somebody to have some kind of idea in their head that there's all these narcissists sitting out there in the world with this narcissist label on their forehead, knowing that they're narcissists, listening to a video like mine and feeling discriminated against is so silly, because most narcissists it would never occur to them in a million years that I'm talking about them. Most narcissists listening to a video like the one I make will think that I'm talking about the people in their lives. So to think that I'm somehow hurting narcissists by talking about them is really funny, because a narcissist wouldn't think I'm talking about them in the first place. And for narcissists that are self-aware, that do understand their narcissism, I honestly hope and I believe that most of them would probably agree with most of what I'm saying. And I really hope that that's the case. And for a true pathological narcissist, listening to me describe them, if they understand their narcissism and they're self-aware, they might be sitting there wondering what the problem is. So somebody thinking that I'm insulting narcissists by accurately describing them doesn't understand the perspective of an actual narcissist that would listen to all of these characteristics and think, yeah, what's wrong with that? So I don't care about other people. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Why should I care about other people? When have other people ever cared about me? Why would I want to put my neck out on the line for somebody that might just take advantage of me later? So that's not an insult. I don't care about other people. So what? And if I mentioned that narcissists are very exploitive, a narcissist would think, well, yeah, I exploit people. I mean, they might not use that language, but they would look at the description of it and think, well, if somebody's gonna give me something or do something for me just because I convinced them to, I mean, why shouldn't I take advantage of that? What's wrong with that? You have to be stupid not to take advantage of people that are willing to do things for you or give things up for you. And for a self-aware narcissist that's being told that they don't have any empathy for anybody and they don't care about people's feelings and they don't know how to emotionally connect, they would think, well, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to care about people and be vulnerable in that way and just set myself up for loss? Why would I want to have a mindset and an emotional condition which just sets me up for heartache and grief and loss? Why would I want to be vulnerable to that? Why would I want to be like you? Why would I want to be suffering the way that other people are suffering after I have come out the winner, come out on top? Why would I want to have the same kind of emotional condition that would leave me vulnerable to being one of my own victims? And then there's like, yeah, I have a temper. Yeah, I get angry all the time because people are so stupid. So if you don't want me to get angry, then quit making me mad. Or yes, I'm manipulative. That's how I get what I want. Why wouldn't I do and say the things that get the things that I want for myself? Why wouldn't I do that? That doesn't make any sense. I think this is a really hard concept for normal, caring human beings to understand. Narcissists don't view narcissism as an insult. Narcissism is their coping mechanism. Narcissism is the lens they see the world through. They don't want help with this. They don't see a problem with it. This is how they get what they need out of life. This works for them. And I guess I should say that there are some narcissists that do get to a point where they want help. These people do exist, but it's pretty rare. And the only way that a narcissist can get to this point is if narcissism stops working for them. If their life circumstances take them to a point where they lose everything and more narcissism isn't going to get them back into a place that's comfortable for them. That's really the only time that a narcissist may humble themselves enough to realize that they really do have a problem and that they really do need help. But even in the extremely rare circumstance that happens, a narcissist doesn't want your help. They do not want somebody from their personal life helping them with anything, because if you help somebody, you're suggesting that they need your help, which suggests that they need to humble themselves somehow. To need someone's help is to humble yourself. And from a narcissist's perspective, it feels like lowering yourself and saying, you know what, you're better than me. And because you're better than me, I need your help. And a narcissist would never want to do that. And the only person that can really help a narcissist is, in my opinion, is a mental health professional that specializes in cluster B personality disorders. I mean, this is a personality disorder that really requires professional help. So even if a narcissist wanted your help, I mean, how are you going to help them? And then, of course, I have to point out that describing narcissism accurately sounds like an insult to people that aren't narcissists. And I don't think there's any way to avoid that. Narcissism is real. It's nasty. It's dangerous. And it lives among us. So in order for me to describe it accurately, to help people that are dealing with it understand their circumstances so that they can protect themselves, I have to say things that sound a little insulting or discriminatory, but narcissists are not taking it that way. And it's not my fault if an accurate description sounds like an insult. It's like if somebody had some weird mental disorder where every time you said the word ice cream, they punched you in the face. And this was something they couldn't stop doing. And it just happened every single time you said ice cream, they punch you in the face. Well, if I knew people that were going to be around this person, I would feel like I should warn them and just tell them like, hey, don't say anything about ice cream, okay? Because if you say ice cream, this person's going to punch you in the face. using this analogy, I feel like people that are trying to come to the rescue or trying to defend narcissists are like coming to me and saying, stop telling people not to say ice cream. You're being discriminatory. You're shaming these narcissists because this just isn't fair. This is a disorder. And I just think people should have a fair warning. I personally, even though I have been an abuse victim of more than one narcissist, I don't really view this as something that needs to be punished. I'm not really doing this to be vindictive. I'm doing this to help people that are stuck in these situations. So I personally don't really have anything against narcissists, especially narcissists I've never met. I'm not doing this to affect their lives in any way. I'm doing this to help people that are victimized by them. And there's just no other effective way to do it than to just to describe it like it is and tell people what narcissism is truly all about. And I do think it's funny and a little annoying to think of somebody that's actually spending time worrying about what a narcissist thinks about the description of a narcissist. And I have to think of an extreme example like Ted Bundy. If somebody was doing a documentary about Ted Bundy and they called him sadistic and mean and ruthless, I mean, do you think Ted Bundy's going to sit there and feel bad and feel like he's being discriminated against? No, somebody like him would feel special. Narcissists aren't insulted by the same things that normal people are insulted by. In fact, a narcissist that knows that they're a narcissist may very often feel like that just makes them all the more special. While narcissists enjoy adulation and adoration and admiration, it's not always about positive things, and it has nothing to do with whether or not it's positive or negative. So they'll take insults any day just as quickly as they'll take a compliment. Anything that sets them apart, anything that puts them outside of the scope of normal humanity, anything that points to them and says, you're not like other people. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It doesn't matter. So insults, if anything, actually would make them feel good about themselves. And now some of you may be wondering, wait a minute, anytime I try to criticize the narcissist in my life even a little bit, they fly off the handle. So they certainly don't like insults. Well, that's not quite the same thing. When you insult a narcissist to their face, it's not the insult that makes them angry. It's the suggestion that you have a right to criticize them personally as a single human being, that you are putting yourself above them by demonstrating to them that you believe you have the right to talk down to them, to criticize them, or to suggest that they should change. It's not about the insult itself. If you told a narcissist, you're really rude and you never listen to me, they don't care about the content of what you're saying, because if they thought about it, they would probably think like, well, yeah, why should I listen to you? They're not insulted by that. Whereas when a narcissist says to you, or somebody like a normal person, when a narcissist says, you're rude and you never listen to me, I think most of us immediately feel defensive about the content of what they're saying. Oh my gosh, I do too listen. What do you mean I don't listen? I don't listen? Did I make them feel like I don't listen? Why are they saying I don't listen? Where a narcissist isn't thinking about the content, a narcissist is thinking more about, that person thinks that they can tell me the way that I should be. That person thinks that they have the right to make an observation about me and then tell me something critical that they've observed. Who does that person think they are? So it's not the insult itself that a narcissist will fly off the handle about. It's the idea that somebody thinks that they have a position in which they have a right to criticize them. And to go back a little bit to the person that really is trying to help, that really feels bad for a narcissist, I think sometimes narcissists can take advantage of these types of people by kind of playing into the idea that they are suffering and that they do need some love and patience and healing. And I just want to reiterate that narcissists, even the very few that actually do get to a point where they need help, they do not want your help, especially if you are somebody that they have been abusive towards. anyone that they have ever been abusive towards is somebody that they will never, ever respect, especially not enough to allow them to help them. It is difficult enough for a narcissist to accept help from a trained professional. Most of them have trouble even doing that. They are never going to accept real help from somebody that they've had a personal relationship with, especially someone that they've been abusive towards. That's not something I think they could ever get over, especially before they've actually had professional help. Be careful around a narcissist that actually seems to want your help, because I can almost guarantee you that they are manipulating you and taking advantage of your empathy and your kindness, really, and trying to convince you that it is possible for you to help them change. I can promise you it's not. And even if a narcissist does ask for help, and even if a narcissist does get good professional help that actually helps them, they're not going to stop being a narcissist. They're not going to lose all their narcissistic traits. They're just going to learn how to live a more productive life and be a better, more integrative part of society. They're not going to start caring about other people's feelings or anything like that. So even if you could help them, you're not going to be able to change their nature. You're not going to be able to turn them into somebody that's ever going to care about you. And I think that is one last thing that a lot of us need to be honest with ourselves about. I know that I was stuck in this place for a little while myself, where I wanted to know if there was any way that I could help a narcissist that was in my life. And if I'm really honest with myself, it really was because I wanted the relationship to work for me, and I wasn't able to accept this person the way they were. And the way they were was pretty unacceptable. But when I say accept, I mean to accept that this is how this person is, and they're not going to change. And I can choose to stay in this person's life and accept this person the way they are, or I can accept this person the way they are and leave. And my ideas of trying to help this person, it wasn't really because I wanted to help this person get through their struggles and their pain. It was really because I was in so much pain trying to reconcile the end of a very abusive, traumatic relationship. I was trying to find a way out, and if I could just help this person, then maybe we could work it out. But really, when you're somebody that's been treated so badly by such a disordered person, I mean, it's nice to think that you're somebody that could still care about somebody that could hurt you so much. But at least for me, when I was finally honest with myself, I could admit that my motivations were mostly selfish. And now that I'm really on the other side of all that, I mean, I do kind of feel bad for that person, but it's more of a pity and more of just looking at that person as somebody that's really quite pathetic and could help themselves if they really wanted to. It's not my job, it's not my responsibility, it's not my fault, and it's not my problem. And I mean, I really don't care if that person ever gets help, because help's available the minute that person wants it. And it's not up to me to try to push that person to getting help that they're not interested in getting. And that's really what the whole point of this video is that narcissists don't want help. They don't want to change. They don't want to learn new habits. They will only do this if their whole life completely falls apart. They are not interested in healthier tools. They don't want healthy relationships. They don't want to fall in love. They don't want to have empathy. They don't want to care about people. They don't want to learn how to live like the people that they've exploited and victimized all their life. Why would they want to be one of those people? They really think that they are better off being a narcissist, even with all of the problems that come along with it. They are never going to let go of that, because narcissism is their saving grace. Narcissism is what gets them through life. It is the tool they are using to solve their problems. That's how they view it. So when you try to help them overcome their narcissism, from their perspective, you're basically trying to help them let go of the only thing that's ever really worked for them. If you're looking for a way to support my channel and you've been considering professional therapy, BetterHelp is offering 10% off of your first month of service if you sign up using the link below in my description. And if you sign up using the link below in my description, I will get a one-time commission, so that'll help me out and it'll help you out as well if that's something that you've been thinking about doing. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.